right, so here I am, South Deerfield, Massachusetts, Yankee Candle Village, and it's days away from Halloween, but everyone seems to be posting their thoughts of all of the new Yankee Candle Christmas scents for 2016. So I figured it's only fair that I come here, grab these candles, give you my breakdown, give you my analysis of what I think of these brand new candles. I got all of them right here beside me. And trust me, I am still 100% in the Halloween spirit. But I'm going to break that for just a couple moments to analyze these candles. But you see this shirt here, the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. You got Linus and Sally, Lucy, Charlie Brown, Snoopy. Doesn't quite fit this whole Christmas theme. So let's rectify that right now, okay? Much more appropriate, don't you think? Christmas, like I said, just for a small while. We'll go back to Halloween in a little bit. So, if you don't already know, Yankee Candle this season so far has released 6 brand new Christmas scents. 4 that are going to be in your local Yankee Candle, and then 2 that are online exclusives. But I am, like I said, here at South Deerfield, the Yankee Candle Village, and they carry all online exclusives here. So I'm going to be able to give you a quick analysis breakdown of all 6 of these scents. Look, I know what you're going to say. You're smelling the candles cold, right? The candles are going to act and smell completely different once you melt them or burn them. And you're absolutely right, they will. But trust me when I say that I have enough experience doing this where I could give you a pretty good educated guess on how these candles are going to act with flame and or heat. But my analysis, my breakdown, all my descriptors are going to be based on how these candles are acting cold. Just sticking my nose in the jar. Just a quick side note. I'm going to try to keep this as quick and as efficient as I possibly can. All right, so let's start off with All Is Bright. We have this nice, is this Twinkle lights? Are these little bubbles, effervescence in a glass of sparkling wine? Very pretty image, but it leaves a little bit up to the imagination. So let me smell this. Still got the tag on my shirt. Let me smell this candle and see what this is all about. Big time citrus, big time lemon. If you're not into lemon, you're not going to be into this candle, but I'm into lemon. You get the lemon juice, you get the lemon zest, but more importantly, the lemon pith. That's that white stuff underneath the zest. It's that slightly bitter component that's going to balance out the sweet and tart components. And if you're having a difficult time imagining that pith bitterness and how that could actually be pleasant, think of ruby red grapefruit. I'm actually getting that ruby red grapefruit ocean spray smell on this candle. And staying with the citrus theme, I got a few more for you. Lemongrass. Yes, don't let this turn you off, but think of lemon dish soap. Nice, sudsy, soapy, very clean, bright smell. That lemon oil, a lemon extract, lemon essence. Here's something. Have you ever had limoncello? Limoncello is a liqueur, Meyer lemon, sweet, creamy limoncello liqueur. I like that. And there is a sweetness to this. You might miss that because it is so tart. There's a perceived tartness that you smell this, you're like, wow, that's sour, that's tart. But there is a sweetness. Think of like a lemon head candy. Lemon head candies really aren't that tart as they are sweet. There's a creaminess here too. Pina colada. Think of like a pina colada creaminess. Heavy, thick cream background in this candle. Perhaps this could be suggesting a glass of sparkling wine or champagne. And I would definitely go there, but a very, very young sparkling wine. This is not an aged Grand Cuvée champagne, right? This is more of a young, bright, fruity, super effervescent sparkling wine. I definitely can see that sparkling wine play. Maybe it's because there's a little apple juice, apple-ish, oxidized apple thing here. All is bright. All right, so next on the list, Christmas thyme. Very clever, right? Thyme as in the herb thyme. We have a potted plant which appears to be planted with thyme, and what appears to be some kind of berry or even cherry tomatoes. Still unclear about that, but let's smell it and see if we can decide. Very green. Very green. Everything about this is green. And what I mean by that, think of, yes, thyme, herbaceous, rich. So there is thyme here, thyme, but not as much as you might think. Not as much as you might think. You know, it almost smells like you walked into a nursery. Not like a child's nursery, but where you buy your garden goods. You get this chlorophyll-rich smell. If you've ever had a shot of wheatgrass, you know, if you've ever gone to Jamba Juice and they got that shot of wheatgrass and you smelled it and you taste it, you are familiar with that chlorophyll smell and taste. It's this green, grassy smell. Citrusy rosemary, lime, lemon verbena. I'll even go back to that lemongrass. And what's interesting about lemon verbena is that if you've ever smelled it, picked it and smelled it in your hands, it smells artificial. It smells beautiful, but it does smell like artificial flavored citrus. What that is reminding me of is artificial flavored Trix breakfast cereal. Specifically the lime. What are they? Are they pellets now? Are they shapes? I don't even remember. Are they little balls? Trix breakfast cereal, no kidding. Again, you know, I said dish soap on the last one. I'm gonna go a little bit Irish Spring here. You do get that rosemary, pine needle, very clean, soapy, sudsy Irish Spring bar soap that I would imagine is gonna show itself. It's gonna poke its head out a little bit more once you light this candle. I definitely don't smell soil, but let me tell you, it's hard not to think of topsoil or rich, fertile soil because of all of these green, garden-like, nursery-like aromas. My mind almost wants to think that I'm smelling soil, but I'm not. It's just the associations at work. I love that I found this one, saltwater taffy, and of course, specifically the lemon or the lime saltwater taffy. That taffy at room temperature or even sitting in a warm room or a warm car, it's all gooey, a warm taffy smell. It's almost dragging me to Laffy Taffy, like banana Laffy Taffy too. Yeah, slight banana Laffy Taffy. So surprise, surprise, not much time. And I think what they're trying to suggest here, these red balls, tomato. And it's not a super stretch. It does kind of have this tomato plant, tomato leaf, way in the background. Don't let that throw you off because it's definitely this lemon verbena, lime, herbaceous smell, nursery smell that's coming first. But I think I've identified what Yankee Candle wants these balls to be, and that's going to be cherry tomatoes. Christmas time. All right. Bubbly, pomegranate, yet another libation, alcoholic beverage. A lot of alcoholic beverages, or just beverages in general, and this isn't even the last one. We got, I think, 2 more. Also, a glass of what appears to be sparkling wine, right? It's in the champagne flute. I don't see any bubbles. I'm guessing pomegranate seeds floating on top with a sprig of something in that glass as well. So let's smell this guy. Wow. Bubbly pomegranate. I smell pomegranate juice. Yeah, I do. I smell a little bit of cranberry juice. And they're very sweet forms of cranberry pomegranate juice. But let me tell you what I smell a whole lot more. Cherry candy. Not a tart cherry, a very sweet cherry. If you are one of those people who loves to eat Luden's wild cherry cough drop candies, even when you're not sick, you'll probably like this a lot. Cherry Tootsie Pop, cherry Dum Dum, maybe even like maraschino cherry too. And it's 3 for 3 now. There is a very pleasant creaminess in the background of this candle. Think of, you had that cherry candy with a little dollop, just a little dollop of whipped cream on top. There's a suggestion of a whipped cream, Cool Whip, a confectionery, sweet cream, and a little bit of spice too, a little bit of spice. It would be amiss to ignore that spicier cinnamon. It's just a touch, but it is that spicier cinnamon. I can almost feel that spice right back up in here. So Bubbly Pomegranate. I don't smell anything herbaceous. All right, Alpine Martini. We have our martini. It looks like cranberries garnished inside the glass. Okay, tart, sour. There is such a big, bombastic brightness. Let me try to classify how I want to describe it. Okay, I'm going to save a couple of these for the end. Let's start with the obvious. Pomegranate cranberry juice with tons of added sugar. So it's very tart, but there is a sweetness too, and it's balanced nicely, but keep in mind the tartness is going to have the higher ratio. Okay, lemon juice, just straight up lemon juice. This Alpine suggestion took me a little bit, but I think I found it. Blue spruce. If you're familiar with your conifer trees, if you're familiar with pine, not the pine cone, not the bark, the tree, nothing really woodsy, just the sweet herbaceous smell of a mild blue spruce in the background. I really think that pine, alpine smell is going to come through a whole lot more once this candle's lit. There's a little bit of that cherry candy thing again. I smell this from the get-go, and I wanted to save it to the end. A lot of my descriptors, a lot of what I smell and how I verbally describe what I smell are candies. It's a way for me to communicate what I smell and how I perceive an aroma. And what I smell is pixie stick. I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not milking this to make a point. I'm saying this with 100% conviction. I am smelling like I just sniffed some pixie stick and a little bit of that powder got up my nose. There is such a strong sour component. Warhead sour candy. It's not even a component, it's built on that sour note, which, guess what? I really enjoy. It's that sour, that tartness that's really bringing those cranberries to life. It's bringing that cranberry to life. That cran apple, cran grape juice. All right. So those first 4 candles are the ones you're going to be able to find at your local Yankee Candle. The next 2 are going to be the online exclusives. Or if you're here to pick them up at South Deerfield, you will find them. And this one is spiced white cocoa. Now, I went through this big cocoa phase not too long ago, so I'm very excited to give this one a smell to see if there is a level of high authenticity here. All right. And I love this. I love doing this. All right, so buttery. Yes, you heard me right. Buttery white chocolate. There is a buttery white chocolate richness that is dominating the nose of this candle. And let me tell you, I'm loving it because it's super authentic. You're getting this foamed milk. Think of the foamed milk that you get in your espresso beverages at your local cafe. If you're familiar with lattes or your cappuccinos, anything that they put that nice foamed milk on top, right here, you get that nice warm milk smell that's almost wanting to put me to sleep. And you know what? It's so buttery. I'm starting to think of toffee, right? Salty, buttery, caramelized sugar, caramel, a Heath bar, right? You know, the Heath bar's got the toffee inside. Well, imagine that Heath bar was covered in white chocolate instead of milk chocolate. You know, this is what's great. There's a nuttiness here. I first wanted to jump to hazelnut, and then I reevaluated. I went to macadamia nut. Especially if you've had macadamia nuts out of a jar or a can, and you get to the end and there's none left, and you smell that empty jar, you get this lingering, powdery macadamia nut aroma. But more than that, I'm actually getting pecan, this beautiful pecan smell. And with that toffee, with that buttery saltiness, I'm getting this pecan praline goodness on the nose here, and I can't deny it. What are those cookies? So the pecan shortbread cookies, crispy, crumbly pecan cookie, like a sugar cookie thing happening here. And as far as spiced, you know, it says spiced actually in the title, but don't be afraid of that if you're afraid of baking spices, because it's actually not as dominant as you might think. There's this cinnamon sugar coffee cake crumble thing, but nothing big or spicy, no ginger spice or clove, nothing like that. Let me tell you, this is authentic, very authentic. Authentic in the sense that it really does smell like white cocoa. Look, you know, not all of us make real cocoa out of, you know, chunks of chocolate. We go and we buy it in the powdered form, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you've ever had Land O'Lakes powdered white chocolate cocoa, this is what this smells like. So I'm going to say it's incredibly authentic if you're comparing it to something like that. I am loving this candle. I'm just going to go on the record right now and say if you like hot cocoa, if you like white chocolate, you should probably go on the website and get this before it sells out. Man, this one is reminding me the most of Christmas. It's making me yearn. It's making me yearn for Christmas time. That's how successful this one is. And lastly, we have Shimmering Pine. Shimmering Pine. Now, we had Sparkling Balsam last year. We have so many pine-scented candles from Yankee Candle, and it is one of my favorite styles, my favorite genres of Christmas candles. But it almost makes me think, well, how much different can they make these? Because it seems like everything's been done. Balsam and Cedar is one of my favorite. I think it is Yankee Candle's biggest Christmas candle as far as popularity. It might be their biggest just in general. Mistletoe is another big favorite of mine, and I was a big fan of Magical Frosted Forest. I love the sugar-fied element to that candle, but how is this one going to differ? I don't know. Let's see. All right, so it's Christmas time. You go out in the field, you find your Christmas tree, the one that's gonna fit in your living room. It looks the best. Everything about it's perfect. You chop it down, you throw it over your shoulder, you throw it on top of the vehicle, you get in the car, touch the steering wheel, and your hands stick to the steering wheel. You got the sap all over your hands. That beautiful, sweet pine needle, pine sap, pine resin smell. This is what this is about. And, you know, this pine cone here on the label, that's not deceiving. That's not misrepresenting the smell. Big time pine cone smell. That woody pine cone, conifer tree. I like it. What is going to be rounding out that pine is the addition to citrus. Look, pine and citrus, whether it be lemon or lime, they always go beautifully together. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of this yin and yang thing. That's why I love rosemary so much. Think of like if you walk up to a rosemary bush and you just pulled off the needles off a sprig of that rosemary, and then you smelled your hand. It has a lemon and pine smell to it. That's definitely the case here too. You know, a nice limey component that's going to be rounding out that pine, but also the addition of perhaps, I'm guessing, eucalyptus. Now, I don't think Yankee Candle wants you to necessarily think eucalyptus, but what it does is it really does enhance that pine aroma. It makes it a little bit more round and substantial, a little bit more complex. Are you familiar with eucalyptus? If you're not, you have to go out and smell it. And there's a little bit of that cooling sensation, a little bit of that menthol, just a little bit. You know, that lime is starting to come through as Pellegrino sparkling lemonade. Do they make limeade? Pellegrino? They probably do. Well, if they do, or if they did, that's kind of what this is. It's a big, bright, super tart lime component that is really refreshing. Think of lime sherbet. Think of lime sorbet. A little bit of this milky addition. If you're on the fence when it comes to pine scented candles, you might want to give this one a shot, because it's not going to be super crazy, heavy, pungent, bombastic pine. You might get away with this one. It's not going to be a heavy pine, cedar, balsam, like balsam and cedar. It's going to be a much more fruity and softer pine smell. All right, so that's going to do it. People all around me, you probably can't see them, but they're everywhere. It's a very busy day here at Yankee Candle, and they all think I'm absolutely nuts. And the t-shirt is probably not helping, considering, like I said, we're days away from Halloween. There's a theme that you probably recognize, and that's going to be beverages, or even stronger than that, libations, alcoholic beverages. Well, I was talking with Yankee Candle manager. He said that these projects came together with the idea of hosting in mind, hosting like a party, a Christmas party. So that is where all of these alcoholic beverages are coming from. But if they seem a little bit too unconventional Christmas for you, never fear, because Yankee Candle, although they haven't released them yet, are releasing 6 other Christmas scents. And the Cookie Swap collection, 6 delicious fragrances. I found out the names. 1 is going to be iced gingerbread. 2 is, and this one sounds incredibly amazing, crunchy pistachio vanilla. That's exciting, right? Because have we seen pistachio represented by Yankee Candle before? I could be mistaken, but I don't think we have. Mary Berry Linzer, as in Linzer cookie. We have Magic Cookie Bar. Now, I believe that these are the names. This is what I was told. I know the first 3 are actually on this pamphlet, so I know those are accurate. Rainbow Sprinkle Cookie, which I heard is going to be kind of a small alteration to Christmas Cookie. Kind of like Snowflake Cookie was like Christmas Cookie. And then last, Peppermint Meringue Cookie. Sounds good. November 5th. So when those hit the stores, I will be happy to give you my thoughts on that collection.